People are enjoying here, using the flood control dam for swimming to beat the scorching heat. This is not an excursion, just everyday fare of shared meals for the indigenous people, the Dumagats, who live here. While the National Capital Region and some nearby provinces are still under quarantine restrictions, people here are leading seemingly normal lives. With zero COVID-19 cases, the virus is not seen here as a clear threat.
Dito sa amin, yung pakiramdam namin, malaya kami. Walang nagsasabing kailangan magsuot ka ng takip sa bibig, kailangan mayroong harang ang buong mukha mo.
This is Barangay Puray, located in the more mountainous part of Rodriguez, formerly known as Montalban, an upland municipality in the province of Rizal, near Metro Manila. Travel from the municipality proper to the most remote sitios or zones in Barangay Puray takes about 3 hours. Road conditions start well, but worsen the farther the travel gets. Until rough, unpaved, bumpy roads are exposed. Things only get tougher while negotiating narrow and muddy roads. To crossing rock-filled shallow rivers with a dilapidated bridge that is not passable in the background. And the most agonizing part is traversing steep terrain. Only single motorcycles and their habal-habal variety can navigate the challenging and rugged drive to get here. People here feel their remote location has proven to be a blessing, as it has protected them from the dreaded virus. But they say it does not mean they're not affected by the raging pandemic, because it is hitting them where it hurts the most, economically. Vegetable and fruit farming is the main source of livelihood for most of the residents here. They used to bring down their produce to the town proper to sell there. With lockdown restrictions, things have drastically changed. And the blessing of being isolated has also become a curse.
So ngayon hindi nagaano silang madalas na nakapagbababa dahil limitado. Unang-una yung mga pinagtitindahan nila dati, siyempre isinasara at pinagbabawal ng pagtindahan ng mga tao dahil dadami yung tao eh.
Dahlia, a 35-year-old Dumagat and mother of 2 children, could only look back at how much more comfortable their life was before the pandemic.
Ako po ma'am noon, pag nagtinda po hanggang tanghalin, minsan po ma'am, ako'y nakaka-3,000. Tapos kinabukasan naman po, ulit ko yung natira ko po ma'am, minsan po nakaka-2,000 hanggang sa nasasarado po ma'am siyang minsan 5,000.
Anong ibig sabihin ng 5,000 para sa pamilya mo?
Malaking bagay na rin sana ma'am yun sa amin kung nagpatuloy nga po at medyo maayos-ayos po mamang nabibili ko po sa mga anak ko, nakakabili po ng bigas, ulam, saka po ma'am damit. Nakakapagtabi-tabi pa po ma'am para po kung magkasakit po ma'am, meron po kaming pang-agarang mga pamasahe o pambili ng gamot. Ay ngayon po ma'am, wala na po ma'am talaga.
These days, Dahlia says she would be lucky if she can even earn 350 pesos per week from her produce. Cost of habal-habal rides has also gone up due to physical distancing protocols. Dahlia and the other farmers here are forced to just sell their produce to traders who go up here to buy their products at such unadjusted bargain rates.
Halimbawa, yung langka po ma'am, ang kuha na lang po sa amin dito ay 10 ang kilo. Pag sa bintahan po sa bayan, umaabot po ang 40 ang kilo po ma'am, pag yung palatag po ma'am. Malaki po ma'am, nawawala po, doble, triple po.
So Dahlia scrimps on food for her family.
Halimbawa, may kaunting pira po ma'am kami, itutulo na po ma'am sa bigas. Na pagtitiisan pa po ma'am namin na hindi kami kumain ng ulam. Ang importante lang po ma'am sa amin, yung meron kaming kaining kanin.
Barangay Puray is considered a geographically isolated and disadvantaged area or GIDA. It is one of 11 GIDA barangays in Rizal and of 230 total GIDA barangays in Calabarzon and of over 4,000 in the entire country, including the most far-flung barangays in the Visayas and in conflict-ridden places in Mindanao. GIDAs refer to communities with population physically and socioeconomically separated from the mainstream society, according to the Department of Health's Bureau of Local Health Development. Physical factors that characterize GIDAs include being isolated due to distance, weather conditions, and transportation difficulties. At least 25% of its sitios or zones should have no access to a rural health unit within 60 minutes or travel in any form of transport, including walking. Socioeconomic factors, on the other hand, include high poverty incidence, the presence of a vulnerable sector like the IPs, and those that are affected by armed conflict or are internally displaced. Vulnerability to environmental hazards also characterize GIDAs. Many of the Dumagat residents have lived here all their lives, but they lament how far they are from development.
Sa lahat, sa totoo lang, kaming mga katutubong Dumagat dito sa Muntalban, pag-iiwan. At ang kahinanakit ko, pinakamalapit kami sa Quezon City. Kadikit namin ang Quezon City. Kaya, ngayon, makikita nyo, unti-unting karsada yan. Gaano katagal na akong nabubuhay dito? Mahigit na akong 70 taon.
There's no signal for mobile phones and the internet in most of Puray, except in this steep, mountainous area. Students climb here to check on their schoolwork. What worries Dahlia the most are the dangers that come with their terrible road conditions.
Ay marami na po ma'am. Nakakasidente po ma'am. May namamatay pa nga po ma'am. Pag napasama, kagaya po ma'am kami nung Biyernes po ma'am. Kami po ma'am nasimplang sa motor. Kasama ko po kami maliit kong anak. Pinagbabuti na lang po at di rin pinabayaan ng Diyos na yung anak ko ay mamatay kami pareho.
The residents are petitioning for the roads to be fixed and cemented. But until there's no concrete action on this, Dahlia dreads the rainy season. Their fragile homes simply cannot withstand strong typhoons like Ulysses that hit them late last year.
Ang sitwasyon po dito, bahang-baha po. Tapos lagi po kami basa ng ulan. Hindi naman po man po pwedeng hindi lalabas para po ma'am kumuha niyang mga pwede po ma'am pagkakitahan, mga ibintang po ma'am, yung mga gulay. Pag bumubuhos na po ma'am ang baha, lumalangay po ma'am kami patabi dito. Isa pa nga po ma'am, naglalandslide po itong mga tabing karsada. Pagka umuulan po ma'am, nakukutkot. Ay paspasan po ang motor para hindi po maabuti ng bagsak po ma'am ng mga lupa.
Another thought is troubling Dahlia.
Halos sa pagkain na nga lang po, halos kami nahihirapan. Paano ba po naman kaya kung sakit na po yung tumama sa amin, doon na po mamamatay na po ma'am kami.
Imagine mo, ang mga geographical disadvantage, yung mga yan ay resource poor. Tapos geographically isolated siya, so ang layo niya sa pinakamalapit na pwedeng pagkuhanan ng health services. Disadvantaged pa siya. So yung mga tao doon wala talagang resources. Kaya imagine mo, pag sa kanila pumalo yung sakit, saan sila tatakbo?
There is a barangay health center in Puray where several barangay health workers or BHWs are on call. A DOH-assigned nurse is only available twice a week.
3 hanggang sa 4 na barangay po ang aking iniintindi. Gawa nga po ng medyo kulang kami sa manpower ngayon.
There's no doctor assigned to Puray's health center.
Dito po sa GIDA, mas maganda po sana na mabigyan kami ng regular na doktor na umaahon po dito sa aming barangay. Nang sa gayon po yung aming pong mga pasyente na merong sakit, hindi na po ma-expose po sa bayan po na kung saan mas mataas ang case po.
A law mandates that health accessibility problems in GIDAs should be addressed.
Nakapaloob po sa ating Republic Act 11223 or otherwise known as Universal Healthcare Act of 2019. The government shall guarantee that the distribution of health services and benefits provided for this act shall be equitable by prioritizing GIDAs in the provision of assistance and support.
Data from DOH's Human Resources for Health, however, is telling. In Rizal, there are only 8 nurses across the health centers in the province. There are no midwives and medical technologists, and 0 doctors to the barrios. Dahlia fears getting infected by the virus whenever she goes down to the town center. Should vaccines become available in Puray, however, the biggest challenge the local government and health workers will face is the strong vaccine hesitancy among the residents, especially the Dumagats.
Ang tao po ma'am talaga ay natatakot po ma'am, lalo na po ito matatanda. Di po ma'am, narinig na po nyo dito sa tribal yung ibang karamihan. Kasi lalo't mahihina ang katawan, mga anemic.
Rafu offers his wisdom and differing view on the COVID-19 vaccines.
Ang pananaw, maganda na yung ikaw may pandebensya. Ako talaga, sabi ko ako magpapabakuna. Hindi ako, kung ayaw nyo, kayo lang.
The apprehensions of the Dumagats on the vaccines are born out of lack of correct information on the matter and from past traumatic experiences.
Kasi ang IP, kahit wala pa nung bakuna anti-COVID, meron na silang karanasan sa mga dating bakuna. And chances are, yung karanasan na yun were not resolved properly. May nagkalagnat, namatay after bakunahan. Takot sila. Pero hindi nila naisip, yung pinabakunahan nila sobrang malnourished. At kahit hindi siya bakunahan, mamamatay siya. Sa GIDA areas, ano yung mga hakbang para tugunan halimbawa ang pandemya? Unang-una, ipaliwanag sa kanila, ano ba yung COVID? Paano siya kumakalat? Paano siya makukuha? Ano yung sintomas niya? At higit sa lahat, pag nakitaan ka niyan, ano yung dapat mong gawin para hindi ka matakot?
For Rafu, his desire to be vaccinated also serves a practical purpose.
Siyempre, susunod ko na rin sa protocol ng ITP. Siyempre, may mask ka, magtitinda ka. Makapapasok mo na ulit, makabalik ka na. Siyempre, may mga apo na rin ako nag-aaral. Malapit na pumasok ng kolehiyo.
After all, Rafu once experienced the huge difference a good market can make in their lives as farmers when he had the chance to sell their products inside Quezon City Circle before the pandemic.
Pinakamahina talaga 5,000 hanggang 7,000 hanggang umabot pa nga 15,000. Sa loob na isang linggo yun.
The few years he spent selling in Quezon City has allowed him to fund his daughter's education until she finished college.
Ayan ko yung aking mga apo.
The Dumagats assert that resuming their livelihood will be the key for them to survive this pandemic.
Kung kami ay matutulungan talaga ninyo at meron talagang bagsakan,
Ang laking bagay.
ay sus!
This is the same challenge confronting other GIDA barangays in the country during this pandemic.
Takot yung tao doon mamatay sa gutom kaysa mamatay sa virus. Alam nila yung karanasan ng taong nagugutom. Yung taong namamatay sa virus, sino bang hindi lahat ng Pilipino may ganyang karanasan. Diba? Pero yung mga karanasan mura, maraming Pilipino na nakaranas nila. Sino gustong bumalik sa ganung sitwasyon?
Most of the IPs here say they do not wish to leave their beloved lands, but they also have aspirations for a better Puray and dreams for their children.
Pangarap ko po ma'am dito, pangunahin po ma'am, kami po ma'am dito ay yung karsada po may mapaayos. Tapos may mamili po ma'am sa amin dito ng kalakal po ma'am na hindi naman po ma'am gano'n nakabarat. Yung katamtama, hindi naman po ma'am lugi bumibili. Hindi naman din po ma'am kami lugi, yung gano'n. Yung makapag-aral po ma'am, yung mga kabataan po ma'am namin. Pangarap ko rin na kaming mga katutubo ay magkaroon ng pag-angat ng aming antas, sa aming kabuhayan, sa aming kaalaman.
So, ang problema natin, imagine mo, the world is getting smaller because of information communication technologies and new gadgets. But the gaps are getting wider. In the spirit kasi of true and genuine development, the center is people. And when you put people at the center of anything you do, you automatically include GIDAs as part of your priorities. Diba? But for as long as development is not anchored on people, GIDA will always be marginalized.
People living in GIDAs cannot change their geography, but they need not be forever disadvantaged. They plead not to be forgotten in the COVID-19 response as they are also affected by the pandemic. and they hope for government and basic social services to come closer to them, no matter how far they may be. True and inclusive people-centered development should leave no one behind.